I will tell you my reaction. Guns are a sensitive subject in my house for some prior things. And so I was very quick. I was about to turn off the channel because I was watching the pregame and I knew about the news. And I was going to turn it off really quickly. But then I was like, oh, I'll let it play. Because I didn't want my kids to hear that a guy that they know was playing with guns. And so I was like, oh, let me leave it on. So then all of a sudden, my 6-year-old is like, Dad, that Ja Morant, the one with the brace. I'm like, yeah. She's like, he's really good, isn't he? And I was like, yeah, he's in trouble because he was playing with the gun. And they were like, well, why would he do that? And I was like, son, I don't know. I'm like, would you guys like to see the video? So they run over. I show them the video. They're like, Daddy, why was he doing that? Son, I don't know. I can't answer. I was like, is that a good decision or a bad decision? My son was like, oh, that's a bad decision. I almost laughed because I saw his reaction immediately. And I was like, and buddy, this is the second time that he did it. They're like, he did it before? And I'm like, yeah. I didn't want to show him the video. I was like, hey, do you guys want to see the picture? So I showed them the picture and they're like, Daddy, why would he do this? And I'm sitting here like, son, you are 6, you are 8, and you can recognize that this is a terrible decision. So I don't know. I sit up here with my experience as a 43-year-old man. Jalen Rose's going to sit up here, and a damn 6- and 8-year-old can look at what they were watching on television, see it on social media, and I wanted to show it to them because we have a very no guns, we don't play that in our house. I don't let my kids play with any type of gun. We know those rules in black households. We don't play with any type of guns. And so for my 6- and 8-year-old kid to recognize and look at me with utter confusion, and they were just like, Daddy, why would I don't know. So I'm not going to sit down here and break down and say he needs to get this. All I know is that if my little kids can see that that was a terrible, terrible decision, I don't know. There's no analysis for me to break down. It's beyond any sort of analysis.
That's very well said. And everybody knows I got a chance to sit down with them after the first situation.
Yeah.
And what I gather is sometimes it takes young people longer to actually get the message, and usually that message comes into a stiff punishment. And what's going to now happen is it not only affects you clearly as an individual, but this is going to affect their entire offseason, affect their draft, affect their preseason, and affect the start of next season. So that long runway, Malika, is then going to be a revelation, hopefully, in his life to where his decision-making has got to change. And Richard, you're exactly right. The key thing is not only having the gun, because depending on where you live, laws dictate whether you're able to have a gun. It's brandishing it and playing with it. That's where it definitely goes too far. And lastly, there are going to be a lot of people that blame the people around you. Once you get drafted, you're the CEO. They're your friends, your families, in a lot of cases, your employees. So you're responsible for your behavior. And as a professional athlete, we all know we're required to be role models, whether we accept that or not. If he was in a different profession, maybe an artist or an entertainer, people would look at the video different and maybe even cheerlead it. But because he works in the NBA and has a corporate job, that's just behavior that you can't have.
I think back